Hey, Devon.
I'm here with Mykell Mathieu, multimedia sports journalist extraordinaire. Thank you for sitting down and having this interview.
No,
Appreciate it.
of course, man. It's family, man. So it's always love. Thanks for having me.
So I'm asking you questions. Starting off, you from LA. I know this because I know you.
Hmm.
I like to ask questions that pertain to where you grew up or how you grew up.
Okay.
What do you say has given you an advantage being from LA as you are well traveled at this point? You've met people all over the country and the world at that matter. What do you say is the biggest difference or the advantage that you have because you've grown up here in Los Angeles?
Just with it being so many people here, in LA, you have to deal with a lot of different people. What they call it, a melting pot, where you have all these different races. So you learn how to navigate talking to different people from different places and things like that, to where you're not scared of meeting anybody new and talk to anybody new. And then you have to add in so many beautiful women. It makes it easy. Like, if you like women, you want to talk to them and get a beautiful woman, you have to step out and talk to someone and deal with the yeses and the no's. So you kind of can carry that over into meeting new people and trying to fit in different groups. I think that you have to be able to fit in with different groups. Like, coming from South Central LA, then going off to college where I'm not seeing as many black and brown people, I had to know how to be with my homies and chilling and kind of having street knowledge, and then having book smarts and being around people who are not from that same world. So that's what I kind of take away from being from LA.
Next question, if you don't mind elaborating on a recent L or loss that you've taken, because people talk about them, and but then we don't never know what type of loss, what type of L we mean. Like, oh, I took an L. What is okay? Can you tell me about an actual L? Can you express the L that you took, and then also elaborate on whatever lesson you learned or what it meant for you?
Yeah, I think that, I think we take L's every day. They just come at many different levels. But the most recent L I've taken is, I feel it's the loss of my dad, who was a, big figure in our family as far as being the leader. He was the guy who brought in the most income. And with, growing older, you step away from your family. Me being blessed having my mom and my dad, I always knew, my mom is taken care of. My dad got her to where now that's gone, to where now, I have to step up more to the plate because, my brother has his own family. My sister is, newly married and things like that. So it's just been an L that I have to adjust with, and adjust to, along with my family, to where now we're learning how to, like, he passed away in February and it's November. We're learning how to still cope with that, and then learning how to live without his presence and things like that. And it's a great adjustment period, but I think that L's are only meant to make you stronger, not make you worse. You just have to take a lesson from it. That's the L that people always skip over. Yes, a loss, but then it's also a lesson, and you have to take something from it. So I feel that we have taken from the loss of my dad is pushing much harder, and really being there for one another, because that's what he would have wanted.
So would you say that's the lesson that you learned from the L, or do you mind elaborating on the
Yeah,
lesson from it?
the lesson learned is, you just got to keep pushing forward. I can take you back to when my dad lost his mom. It was like, he had his moments of sorrow, but it's like, I still have to pay bills. I still have to take care of my family and things like that. So you have to keep pushing forward and realize that sometimes these things are just going to happen. With age comes loss, and you have to deal with that. But you should learn a lesson from it. Like, okay, how to deal with loss. You see, even in sports, like, teams lose. For the sore losers, you get upset, and it may affect you to where you may lose 5 straight games. To where, if you know how to learn from your losses, which are the different lessons from it. That's how you can become that winning team once again. So I feel that the fam, we just learn to be closer with each other. The lesson is that we need each other more, call each other more, whether it's the intermediate or just the family in general, just to check in, because you just never know who's going through what. A lot of the family didn't know that my dad was as sick as he was until the tragic loss happens. So it's just about coming together and be more tight knit, and I think we're seeing that more in total with the family.
Big change of direction. What would you say is the key to success?
The key to success, I think that it's a major thing. Like two major things I feel is hard work and dedication. Like you have to put in your work, you have to be dedicated, because no one's going to do the work for you, and the work is going to place you in the places that you want to be and need to be. And then it's the people around you. I think that no one makes it in this world without people around them helping, and whether they put them on or they vouch for them or they're just there, mentors and things like that. Like you need people to be successful. A lot of the greatest companies in the world came about by them combining with other companies and things like that. And you see even in sports, me being a sports guy, we always hear about duos, Jordan and Pippen, Magic and Kareem, Shaq and Kobe, the Splash Brothers. It's not just the Splash Brothers, and the Heatles with LeBron teaming up with Wade and Bosh. Like you're always going to need others. So if you put in hard work and you're dedicated at what you're doing, some luck and good things start to happen. But it's about also putting the right people around you, because you got to make sure that you have the right team around you, because without a team, that I think that it's like almost impossible to make it as far as you would like to, especially if you want to do it at a quick and fast pace.
What would you say is the biggest challenge when it comes to trying to achieve a particular goal that anybody is going to have? There's a lot of challenges that I feel like we've all faced. I listen to a podcast and I hear about these challenges from successful people, and then I say, "Oh, I'm going through that now, so it's not abnormal."
Hmm.
Just give people a head start and a heads up, like, "Hey, this is you're going to face this." What would you say that this challenge is for people who are trying to achieve success?
I think that the challenge that a lot of people don't cope well with, and like accept, like this is what it is, a part of everything that you do in life, is failure. I think that embracing failure, realizing that failure is going to happen. When you're a kid, you were learning how to ride a bike. No one just gets on a bike and like, all right, look at me, I'm doing wheelies, I'm going fast. It's like, no, you're going to get on, you're going to fall, you're going to fall. Eventually, you're going to figure it out. In sports, you pick up a basketball, you don't make every shot. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan, we call him the GOAT in basketball because of the winning and the individual stats and all of these things, the brand. But he always talked about like the losses helped him to realize what he needed to be better at. So accepting his failure, knowing that it's going to come, you're going to play, however long in your career, you're not going to win. No one's going to win every season. You're going to work a job, make great money, but you're not going to always make as much money as maybe you expected and things like that because of some failures that you deal with. But once you're able to embrace those, is going to keep you from those little setbacks to where you have your head down and things like that. You're going to keep that marathon mentality, rest in peace to Nipsey. And that's what it's truly about. Keith, we know we ran a marathon, and we know that if you go out there and right when you start feeling some pain and you just stop, that's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? You might be done because your body's not going to be able to pick back up, but you just got to kind of keep pushing. And, the pain, the failures are going to come, but it's just about fighting through it. And I think if you learn how to embrace failure, knowing that it's going to come, it can help you down the line.
Big question.
Yeah.
You're a multimedia journalist.
Yes.
So this is a very huge question, and this is your time.
Okay.
Who is the greatest rapper ever?
Ooh wee. That's tough though. I think it's tough because when I think of the greatest hip hop artists, when we think about you want to build a rapper and build a career, this is who you want. I think it's Tupac Shakur. Because he had everything in the movies. He had classic albums, classic records. He had party tracks. He had songs that that like made you think. Like keep your head up. Songs like that that was like world changing. Song like changes to where if I'm building a hip hop artist, Tupac Shakur is the pinnacle. I don't think that there has been anybody since that's had that type of impact with his words. But when it comes to rapping, the skill of rapping and talent and bars and things like that, um, man, you have to look at a guy like Eminem, who is like verbally he rhymed orange, where a lot of people are like, how could you rhyme the word orange and things like that. I think that lyrically, especially his heyday, that man, a lot of people couldn't deal with his lyricism and his skill, and he was able to make some hit records, thanks to Dre and things like that. But I think that Eminem was that guy. And then you look at the longevity of a rapper, then you have Jay-Z and even Nas, who just dropped an incredible album, King Disease 3. I think like those the top five I think is unchangeable at this point. Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, Eminem. I think those guys are the best hip hop artists, the best rappers when it came to bars. So for me, it's a toss up between the Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, Eminem. But I just know that Nas is incredible. I can't stop listening to King Disease, and I know that Eminem was that guy that was like nobody wanted to beef with him because it's like you're gonna have to deal with a problem. So it's tough for me, man. It's really a toss up. I switch by who I listen to by day, and I guess I'll say Nas right now because his run he has had with Hit Boy, with the King Disease, 1, 2, 3, Magic album. He would be the guy I would say, but everybody else is going to tell you Jay Z because he's Jay Z. That's probably the answer you wasn't looking for. One, it's hard to pick one guy, man.
I think we got it. I think we
Okay.
got it. I think you ended at what most people would say, and then I
Yeah.
think you gave a good explanation of why you are on the train you're on now.
Yeah.
I'm just a little, you know, disappointed that Lil Wayne didn't make it, but that's just
Oh,
me
Weezy
personally.
is close.
No, no, no. He
Weezy,
wasn't in
Weezy
the
is
car. He wasn't
six.
in the
Weezy is
conversation. He
six.
wasn't in the conversation. All good.
Okay.
Mount Rushmore. There's only 4 spots, right?
Yes.
Give me your NBA Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. I'm a little wing biased, I will say, because I think that without a guard or a wing player to give you the ball, that a big man can't be anything. So I have Michael Jordan, who I feel is the greatest player of all time. Just his numbers, the way he changed the game, um, the highlight reel. He had everything that you need: the awards, the 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs. I think that he has to be up there. Kobe Bryant, who a lot of people disrespect, which is so crazy. How do you mimic the greatest player of all time and be so close to them in a greater era of athletes, and you're not mentioning people's Mount Rushmore? Is just insane and crazy. I always say that he's the best basketball player ever. As far as skill level, he could do everything and he did everything well. Finishing with the left hand, shooting jumpers in an NBA game with his left hand, free throws and things like that. The footwork was top notch. And, he's the toughest shot maker that we have ever seen in a game of basketball. And to go along with him possibly being the greatest scorer, a guy that could score 81 points, average 35 points a game, where teams were averaging like 93 points. The dude was like a 11, 12-time all defensive player. So if the game of basketball is about scoring and stopping people, the guy was like the best at both of those things. So he's on there. Then I'm going to give you, LeBron James, because I think that he's the most physically gifted basketball player that we have ever seen. The guy can do everything on the floor. And it's because of his physical gifts, the brute force that he can play with, being 6'9" and can run and jump like a 6'3" guy. It makes the game so much easier to go along with his basketball smarts, with the passes that he can make, and things like that, the way he was able to score. I think his stats were helped so much by the era that he ended up eventually playing in, where so many threes and things like that, to where he's going to eventually break the all-time scoring record over the guy who I feel is number 4. And I hate to not put my guy Magic Johnson on there because he's the greatest point guard ever, which is my favorite position, the leader of the Showtime. But just Kareem, just like Jordan, he has all the accolades. He has 6 MVPs. He has 6 championships. He won in the 70s, 80s. He's the best center of all time. He has the one shot that was unguardable that I don't see why nobody else tries to mimic, but maybe because it was that great. But those would be the 4 guys: Kobe, Jordan, LeBron, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If anybody had to argue any of the players, I can understand. But for me, I think those are the greatest basketball players to ever play NBA basketball.
All right. So I like to ask this question as we reflect back on our past self, our younger self. Generally, we say, hey, what would you ask your younger self?
Yeah.
But let's not go back that far. Let's go back 1 year, because you are much wiser this year at this age than you were last year at this age.
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell your your 1 year ago self?
Yeah.
What would you tell that person from what you've learned this year?
Man, cherish every moment, cherish every moment that you have with people, with the things and stuff that you're doing, with losing my dad. It's like it's moments, I wish I would have cherished even more. So cherish these moments with people, and then the things you do, don't take them for granted. I've been doing a lot of great things lately, I feel, in the last like year or so, by just putting in the work. And sometimes I take them for granted because I'm just like, it's just work. Like, I'm supposed to be here. I have to be here if I want to be, where I am. But then realizing that there's people who like, man, I want to be there, doing what you're doing. So just cherishing every moment that you have with individuals and with life. Even the simplest thing, going on trips with, your friends and family and things like that. Just really cherishing your life moments, because they're literally the last time you're going to have those moments. Like yesterday, I will never be yesterday's age again. So it's like cherishing every moment.
And this question that's coming next is something that takes time to reflect on too, because we all have a last day,
Mm-hmm.
and none of us actually know what day that is. So if today had been your last day, I'd like to
Mm-hmm.
provide this opportunity. What would you tell your family and friends, our loved ones?
Mm-hmm.
I'll start off with uh I'll start off with oh man, Peyton is Peyton. Huh? What? Okay. All
Oh,
right.
it's Liddy.
Yeah, Peyton. My bad. Peyton came in. Hold on. Wait. Um. So yeah, if today was your last day, let's start off with your immediate family. You have no children and no wife, so let's start
Yeah.
off with your
So
immediate
the
family.
things that I would tell them, that's what you're
Yeah.
asking, right? The
Uh huh.
things I would say is just, man, I appreciate you. I thank you for, everything, man. I know my family has always looked out for me and been there for me, man. I was one of those people who, my mom, my brother, my little sister, like they always, looked out, for me for, different situations. Even, and I'm not a big person about people getting me things and doing stuff for me. It's just, just showing the love, the appreciation. I can remember a funny moment to where, I was out somewhere with like a chick, and my phone died and no one can get in contact of me from the family. And I was surprised when I finally was able to connect. I'm like, what's damn? Why everybody blowing me up? Everybody's like, want to make sure I'm okay. I had my uncle from Houston, Texas, hitting me up, and then my mom told me your sister was all crying. I was like, what? She loved me that much? So it's just just the appreciation of the love, because that's what motivates me or motivated me every day in and day out, is that these people love me. I have to be great for them because of the love and everything that they have shown me.
What would you specifically tell your brother directly?
Man, to my brother, thank God that since day one of my life, I was able to be introduced to my best friend, the guy who I looked up to like my whole life, pretty much. Who the reason why I'm a hip hop fan, reason why I'm such a huge sports guy and things like that, was that at my birth, I was introduced to my two best friend in life, was my dad, and then my brother, who had to grow up fast with him having a family and things like that. So I just was able to learn so much from him, and then be able to actually live for him. It's a lot of things that I feel that he wasn't able to do, that I think he want to, that I'm able to live. And we've had great conversations of, just him asking questions and all that. So, I truly appreciated, every moment, with my brother Dre, because, he gave me a partner in crime to this day. We talk pretty much every day and things like that. So, man, I appreciate him, and, what it is, man. It's all love.
And directly, your sister.
Directly, Naya Bear, just loving the woman that you have grown into. You were my in-house rival, with us being the two youngest in the house. But I just, and just me being your big brother, man, looking out for you and making sure that you were good, were always my goals. Taking you to school, different things like that was always to make sure that you were successful and showing love. Our parents taught us love by not maybe verbalizing it, but just showing it however we can. And that's all that I've, done since, you were born. We were young and like, well, we want to have a sister. We want to have a sister. And, God made that happen for us. And, you're a little spoiled brat, thanks to my dad and things like that. But now you've become a great, great woman. You're a wife now, which is still crazy to me that you happened before I did, which is wild. But you've grown into a great, great young lady that our dad would be proud of, and that our mom is proud of. So I love you forever, Naya Bear, and I'm gonna be looking out for you, however I can. And if this is it, that it was always love, man.
And then your mother.
Man, to my mom, man, that's my, I always tell people that I had, I was blessed to have, like a few hearts. I have mines that I live with daily, but then I have my two grannies, and my mom, man, she always, looked out for me. Being the middle child, sometimes you feel like, dang, I'm getting overlooked, but my mom always did her best to make sure that she put me to a high pedestal, to let me know that the love is just as mutual, signing me up for whenever I wanted to, being my biggest fan, the cheerleader when it came to going to college, and picking my career choice as far as being a multimedia journalist, via sports and things like that. Always, having my back. Whenever I had lows, she was somebody that I can, talk to and open up to and things like that. So, man, just man, it's I can't give enough words. Just the type of love, and the love that you had towards the family and towards my dad and things like that, with what he dealt with. So it's, I can't even give enough words, but you just know by the actions and the me being there for you these past few years, for with everything that we had to deal with, man. Just, I love you, and that love is forever.
And last but certainly not least, um, your close homies. And you don't have to name them by name, because I know
Yep.
that we got homies,
Oh, we
and
got too many.
yeah, you got too many homies, and some people lift out. So I suggest giving a general overall, like, they know who they are. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yep.
But the ones who really know who they are, like, what would you say? This is your last day. What would you
Man,
want to tell them?
just man, appreciation just for rocking with me. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I can be a little standoffish because I'm working on like my own things, but just my homies always, being there, having my back. Me always being a little guy. For some reason, all my homies are always pretty tall, and they always had my back and looked out for me. And it was like the crew. Whenever I just needed to get away, I can hit up my dogs and we can link up, many different ways. And, all of my homies being connected with me via music, via sports, to where we can have conversations and things like that. Man, I can really shout out, and thank God that he um, gave me a great group of friends, man, that I can connect with. I've never really had any problems with any of my friends, any falling outs, any issues or things like that. And my friends go as deep as like cousins as well, who are, some of my biggest friends as well. So, man, just showing appreciation and love because of the good times and just always having my back, giving me space when I needed it, and just all the good fun, man. I'm a guy who like to turn up and have a great time and dance and do whatever. I love life and appreciating life. And without people, I always tell people all the time, without people, man, it would be no Mykell. I would be a loner out here, super weirdo. So without the people who have been a part of my life, I'm nothing. So just mad appreciation.
All right. Final question. Is there anything that you would want people to know or anything that you would want to say to as we end this interview?
If it was my last day,
Just in general.
oh, just in general, just like, man, just love, man. Just I think that love is the number one thing that we need here with each other, and it's what I try to give as much as possible. You're not going to love other people as much as you do, but just showing that giving that energy to people, man. There's a lot of angry people in this world, a lot of people who are looking for problems. Where I just try to spread love, man. I think love is something that can connect different people of race, color, gender, things like that, beliefs. Is that I think that love is really vital, and that if we can get more of it, I think that a love movement can really, change this world. But it's just people have to be willing to be vulnerable and to be friendly and things like that. And I think that love is like the number one thing that we need on this world. And if we can have that, then I think it can make it as much of a better place as we can.
Mykell Mathieu, I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot, buddy.